Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me tonight. I am Tiffany Roberts. My husband and I own a clinic called Back to Nature Lifestyle Medicine, and I have a master's and a diplomat in nutrition. I'm a certified functional medicine practitioner, and we love to educate the community. That's our passion. So I'm so glad that you are tuning in to tonight's webinar and to the recording as well, because we love to educate others on many different topics. So tonight, let's discuss what autism and the autism spectrum disorder is. The National Institute of Health describes autism, or more precisely, the autism spectrum disorders, ASD for short, as a neurological and developmental disorder that begins early in childhood and lasts throughout a person's life. ASDs represent a broad group of developmental disorders characterized by impaired social interactions, problems with verbal and nonverbal communication, and repetitive behaviors or severely limited activities and interests. The term spectrum is used because people with ASD can have a varying range of symptoms. There is no specific cause currently known. However, research suggests that both genes and environment play important roles in this. Additionally, there's no standard treatment, but a number of therapies are available to increase a child's ability to grow and learn new skills. So professional diagnosis can be done by a psychologist, psychiatrist, developmental pediatricians, pediatric neurologist, and medical geneticist who utilize standardized testing plus a clinical evaluation by a autism specialist. Raising your child is different. Raising your child that is different is never easy. Daily life will present unique challenges, which can feel overwhelming following this diagnosis. Organizations such as Autism Speaks can help you navigate this challenging time, as they offer regular features on topics ranging from how autism affects your family to day-to-day survival strategies. Diagnosis typically happens around age 2. However, some children may exhibit signs as early as 6 months old. So while there is no cure for autism or ASDs, there are many types of treatment options available. Early intensive therapy is associated with having positive effects on development later in life. There is no autism-specific medications. However, family-centered behavioral and educational programs are key, along with natural therapies. Some therapies include parent education training, social skills training, and speech language therapy, applied behavioral analysis, cognitive behavior therapy, sensory integration, and occupational therapy. We even treat the child through nutrition, depending on their needs, and each child is different. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that there is not a specific treatment, specifically in the nutrition part, because each child is different in how we have to treat them. So some common abnormalities identified by autism research include hormonal, cellular, and neurotransmitter imbalances, signs of inflammation, toxins, and changes in cellular structure are also common in individuals with autism. Unfortunately, the combination of these symptoms can create behavioral difficulties again. Okay. So with conventional medicine, the approach is to pair medications with symptoms and attempt to manage behavior. Functional medicine, however, addresses the underlying causes of the symptoms. In this understanding of how causes and symptoms are connected is the fastly growing functional medicine approach. Functional medicine is a patient-centered form of care which treats the whole individual, not just the symptoms. By examining lifestyle factors in addition to systemic symptoms, functional medicine can help improve and manage health behavioral issues associated with autism. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a child with autism to raise a consciousness of the village. And that's by Coach Ellen Hall. I like that quote. So before we go any further, I wanted to share some inspiring quotes. Autism offers a chance for us to glimpse an awe-filled vision of the world that might otherwise pass us by. That's by Dr. Colin Zimbelman, PhD. Another one by Dr. Temple Grandin is the most interesting people who you'll find are ones that don't fit into your average cardboard box. They'll make what they need. They'll make their own boxes. Another one is, my autism makes things shine. Sometimes I think it is amazing, but sometimes it is sad when I want to be the same and talk the same and I fail. Playing the piano makes me very happy. Playing Beethoven is like your feelings, all of them, exploding. That's by Mikey Alcott, and he was 16 years old, who was nonverbal until the age of 10. Another one by Megan Kufis is, by holding the highest vision for your child when they cannot see it for themselves, you are lifting them up, elevating them, and helping them soar. Have you ever heard of any of these before? Do me a favor, or have one to share with anyone in this group. Does anyone have a specific quote that they like to share? Just type it in the box if you do. So here, let me try this. There we go. Tips from parents just like you. Autism Speaks. This is a great place to go. It's autismspeaks.org. Is a great resource for connecting with individuals and families learning to manage the life changes of an autism diagnosis and cope with symptoms of autism. The following are tips from parents who have gone through the process of change following the diagnosis of the child. 1. Start your therapies early. Many parents find it helpful to move forward knowing their child is engaged in meaningful activities. Free up time to educate yourself as well as you will no doubt be in your child's biggest advocate. Number 2, don't be afraid to ask for help. There are a ton of support options available for a reason. Others may want to help out too, and even having someone cook dinner can free up some of your time. Number 3, talk. Find someone to talk to about what you're going through and feeling, and try not to judge yourself. Just find someone who can listen and unburden yourself. Number 4, find a support group. The connections you make with other families who understand what you and your family are going through can be invaluable. Support groups are a great source of information as well. And number 5, journaling can make a great way to reduce stress and improve emotional health. You can also try journaling to keep track of your child's progress and note techniques that work and those that don't. So, family therapist Catherine Smerling shared a range of tips to help families deal with challenges of autism. Be informed and take advantage of every community service available to you. She also said it's okay to feel angry. You may feel many emotions, but try to direct your anger towards the disorder and not towards the loved one. Remember, other family members are learning to cope as well, so lean on one another for support. Try not to let autism consume your life. It's important to have quality time with your friends and other family members as well. And revel in every accomplishment, no matter how small. Remember to love your child for who they are rather than who you once envisioned them to be. Dr. Smerling also offers a host of tips to help siblings deal with the challenges of autism. Remind siblings they're not alone. This challenge may look different from what other families face, but every family faces difficult times. Encourage them to be proud of their autistic sibling. Help them learn how to talk about autism so that they feel more comfortable. The more comfortable siblings are, the more others will feel at ease as well. Remind them that it's okay to feel mixed emotions and help them work through difficult times. It's okay to experience anger, but holding on to that anger is not healthy over long periods of time. Anger is a reasonable reaction, but it can't help the situation. Help your other child find healthy outlets for frustration. Make time for your other children. They are struggling with so many changes and need your undivided attention to feel special and cared for. And encourage your children to find an activity that they can enjoy together, even if it's just working on a simple puzzle. This will help your children connect. Dr. Schmerling urges clients not to forget about grandparents and extended family, as they have a lot to offer in a way of support. We all learn what we do best over time. Family members will appreciate being asked to help. Urge family members to seek out support as well. Learning a loved one has autism can be challenging for everyone. Be open about autism. Discussing how you feel will help you feel better and develop closeness with other family members. And encourage family members to learn more about autism. The more informed they are, the more helpful they can be in providing support. Family members can also spend time with your other children. Having fun activity and special time together can be beneficial for everyone. Stress is a normal part of parenting and family dynamics, but stress can be amplified when learning to cope with autism. Autistic children may not express wants or needs in a way that we would expect, leaving parents guessing to fulfill their desire, leading to both parties becoming frustrated. When your autistic child becomes frustrated, they can sometimes become aggressive, which can lead to self-injuries, behaviors that threaten his or her safety and the safety of other members. Additional challenges of getting an autistic child to sleep through the night or eat a wide variety of foods can be physically exhausting and emotionally draining for families. The extreme parenting demands of an autistic child can leave a family disjointed, especially if one parent is constantly staying home to take care of that child. We know autism can be stressful for the entire family, so let's take a look at some of the ways that you can alleviate some of these stressors. The Autism Society of America offers help to support for families dealing with autism. In a special report, Autism Advocate, a number of techniques for helping to cope with stress were discussed. Internal stressors, guilt, dread, and fear are common among parents of autistic children. The only thing within their control is your reactions and the interactions with your child and others around you. Autistic children may lack an appropriate sense of fear, leaving you to be on a constant alert, looking for ways your child may harm themselves. The best thing that you can do for yourself is to relieve that, is to realize that your child's autism is not your fault, nor can you prevent every accident. Do what you can and try to make peace with what you can't. Siblings of autistic children may also deny feelings of loss or be expected to modify behavior as to not upset the child with autism. Try to avoid using guilt when siblings quarrel, as it's normal for all children to fight, especially siblings. Families coping with autism often must lean on a spouse for support, which can add to the stress in the marriage. Try to keep in mind it's more important to thank each other for what each contributes than to blame each other for what they are not doing. As difficult as it might be, make time for each other outside of the home. A strong marriage will go a long way. Even a minor semblance of normalcy can help. Financial burden is also too common for families of an autistic child. Before investing in new therapy or treatment, talk to other parents for their opinion and look for other options. Guilty spending can also be common. Um, when feeling hopeless, many turn to spending money on unnecessary clothes or toys to help fill a void. Keep in mind that too much of anything can be overwhelming for an autistic child. Instead, try to set up a toy exchange with other parents. Internal stresses can be somewhat within your control. External stresses, however, can be a little bit more challenging. When dealing with extended family, keep in mind stress was there even before hearing the word autism. They may have been offering advice before diagnosis, and it may continue after. Remember, this may be new to them as well, and they love your child nonetheless. Extended family often wants to help, but simply doesn't know how to pitch in. You can help them help you by explaining to them what you need from them. It might be just a shoulder to cry on or someone to finish a household chore that you just can't get to. At times, the medical community may seem slow to understand problems associated with autism. Treatments are slowly improving, but it may be a stressful finding the right treatments for health problems that your child cannot describe. Getting the right education for your autistic child can be a huge source of stress. Schools are learning to adapt, but still don't always offer what your child might need. Fundraisers are a great way to raise money for the in-home help that may not be available at your local school. Autism education often lacks adequate funding, but keep in mind that nobody goes into special education because they hate children or are looking to get rich. Coping with stressful situations requires being organized and prepared. Don't wait until you are in the need of a break to find someone to help. Get to know a caregiver and spend time with them and your child so that you can get to the point where you need to take a breather. You'll feel confident leaving your child with someone that you trust. Positive thinking and self-talk can go a long way, and practice makes perfect. The more you practice this technique, the sooner it will become second nature. Raising children with autism suggests challenging a negative thought, such as, people probably think I'm a bad parent, but instead asking yourself, how do I know that people will think this? Or try using a positive thought like, who cares what other people think? I can do this, and I will stay calm. Breathing techniques and relaxation exercises can also be useful. Regular practice will help you relax at the first signs of stress, which will help you cope with the situation with a clear mind. So techniques that you can try is modified lion's breath. You sit comfortably on the floor or in a chair. Breathe in your nose. Fill your belly all the way with air. When you can't breathe anymore, open your mouth as wide as you can and breathe out an ah sound. Just repeat that several times. Another one that we teach every one of our patients is the 4-7-8 breathing. You exhale completely through your mouth, making a whooshing sound. Close your mouth and inhale quietly through your nose to a mental count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7 and exhale completely through your mouth with a whooshing sound to the count of 8. This is, this really, really works for most of our patients. So, common challenging behaviors of children with autism include refusing or ignoring requests, behaving in socially inappropriate ways, like taking their clothes off in public, being aggressive or having tantrums, engaging in stimulatory behavior like rocking or hand flicking, harming themselves or other children, for example, a head banging or a biting. Triggers can include a change in routine, sensory sensitivity or sensory overload, unrealistic expectations. Your child might be frustrated if they are expected to do something he or she doesn't have the skill for. Maybe if they're too tired or there is discomfort. By understanding what may trigger challenging behavior, you have the opportunity to avoid certain situations in some cases. Raising children with autism suggests understanding the ABCs. A is uh, you're anticipating. These are the triggers for the behavior. B is behavior. This is the way your child responds to the trigger. And C are the consequences or rewards. This is what your child gets out of behaving this way. For example, he might be allowed to go with a favorite activity or leave a stressful situation. When avoiding triggers isn't an option, you can work on changing the reward your child gets from the behavior. So here's a few tips on how to work on challenging behaviors. Start by choosing one behavior to focus on. Try keeping a diary of triggers and rewards for a week or two and identify the specific trigger reward cycle. And once you know what's triggering the behavior and what your child is getting from it, you can make the changes. Some examples include preparing your child for routing changes within a 5-minute warning, offering praise when your child is doing well, and planning for difficult situations. By improving communication between you and your child, you can help reduce stress and anxiety for everyone. Therapies are based on the principles of applied behavior analysis, which is the use of techniques to bring that about the positive change in behavior through identification and learning motivation relationship. ABA can be used to teach your child new skills and encourage appropriate behavior. Types of therapies include discrete trial training, or DTT. It enables the learner to acquire complex skills and behaviors by first mastering the subcomponents of the triggered skill. Incidental teaching. This involves creating an environment in which students' interests are easily fostered and nurtured, and one in which students can most successfully be motivated. Pivotal response treatment, PRT, is a naturalistic intervention model that is both comprehensive and empirically supported. Rather than target individual behaviors one at a time, PRT targets pivotal areas of the child's development, such as motivation, responsivity to multiple cues, self-management, and social initiation. So positive behavior support is a set of research-based strategies used to increase quality of life and decrease problem behavior by teaching new skills and making changes in the person's environment. Picture exchange communication allows people with little to no communication abilities to communicate using pictures, which can be very helpful. With the use of mobile technology, devices, and apps, special needs education and teaching children with autism and other developmental disabilities has become easier. There are apps for auditory processing disorder. You can look up phonological processing, pattern recognition, temporal processing, auditory memory, tap voice, and white noise. And apps for sensory or social skills defects, those are called Look in My Eyes and Autism Express. I'm sure there's a lot more out there, and those are just the ones that I was able to find. Family support toolkits from Autism Speaks include a parent's guide to autism, a sibling's guide to autism, a grandparent's guide to autism, and a friend's guide to autism. And there are additional resources by the state available at Autism Speaks. So here's some more inspiring quotes. We've compiled a few more quotes that we thought that you would love. The good and bad in a person, their potential for success or failure, their aptitudes and deficits, they are mutually conditional, arising from the same source. Our therapeutic goal must be to teach the person how to bear their difficulties, not to eliminate them from him, but to train the person to cope with the special challenges with special strategies, to make the person aware not that they are ill, but that they are responsible for their lives. This is from Hans Asperger. Asperger syndrome. Another one from Dr. Stephen Shore, a vibrant waves of sequence patterns emerged in my head whenever I look at musical notes and scores. Like pieces of mysterious puzzle solved, it was a natural for me to see music and its many facets as pictures in my head. It never occurred to me that others couldn't see what I saw. And another one, I don't think that there's a different, better child hiding behind the autism. This is your child. Love the child in front of you. Encourage his strengths, celebrate his quirks, and improve his weaknesses the way that you would with any child. You may have to work harder on some of these, but that's the goal. And that's by Claire Lazibnik. Long name. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy day to join me. I know that it is important to share this topic with people just like you who are looking for answers. So if you know someone that has autism or someone they love has autism, have them reach out to our office. The whole month of September, if you are referred, your first discovery session with Dr. Roberts is free of charge. That way you can see and decide whether or not our office is a good fit for you and your family or your autistic child. Please reach out to us at functionalmedicinekc.com, and you can always reach out to me with any questions that you may have.